Joining us in the Room podcast tonight is BKFC matchmaker and Toe the Line Fight Series president, Nate Shook. Calling in tonight to recap this past weekend's BKFC 13, the first ever Toe the Line Fight Series back on September 26th, and the next Toe the Line this Friday night. When is that? October 16th or 17th? When are we? What date is that?
October 16th, live from Plant City, Florida. We're outside Tampa.
Awesome, man. There's a lot to cover. I mean, Nate, we're going to get confused, man. There's so many fights going on. You had back-to-back cards, basically having your first ever Toe the Line series that happened on the 26th. And then, a week or so later, you had BKFC 13. And now we got another Toe the Line Fight Series 2 happening Friday. First of all, congratulations on all your success with BKFC, the fastest growing and biggest combat sport to come out in the last 2 years. Huge, buddy. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Again, thank you for having me on. I love coming on your show. It was amazing last time, and I know we got a lot to cover this time. But you're right. Bare Knuckle Fighting, BKFC, is the fastest growing sport in the world, bar none. And we've been staying busy from September 26th. I worked with Legacy Promotions. We did Toe the Line Fight Series 1 from Tunica, Mississippi. Had an amazing event. Ended up being headlined by Teddy Webster, professional boxer, versus Frank Tate, a professional mixed martial artist, and a bare knuckle fighter previously. The two men threw down, and it ended up in a draw. Fast forward 2 weeks, October 10th, we had our first ever event in Salina, Kansas, headlined for the world heavyweight title between Joey Beltran and Marcel Stamps. And Marcel Stamps came up from 185. People don't realize how hard it's been to matchmake a fight against Marcel. He's just such a large 185er and so athletic, so strong. It was hard for us to find a match for him. So we were going back and forth on a couple different matches. And when this opportunity came up, he jumped at it. He said, absolutely. And he ended up weighing in at 216, which is the highest I've ever heard him weigh prior to a fight, or obviously fighting, since he fought first at 185. And
him coming in, I mean, the big talk about him was that athlete, this tank on him, being an athlete the way he is, you would imagine his gas tank would be endless. And Joey Beltran talking about how he was going to step on that pedal and drain that gas tank. And basically that's what happened. And what a matchmaking in heaven here, because Stamps was putting a hurting on Joey early in that fight. Joey weathered the storm, like he said, and in the clinch, forget it. It was all over from there.
Yeah, I mean, here was a perfect example of two fighters that are drastically different in weight and in physique. And people wondered, would Marcel be too athletic for Joey, or would Joey be just too large and grinding for Marcel? Let's not take anything away from either one of these fighters. Marcel is a top, if not the top, 185-pound fighter out there. Going into this, people looked at him, and they, like I said, it was hard to match him.
Yeah.
And Joey is the heavyweight champ. I mean, he's proven that he's the best in the squared circle. So I like Joey's interview where he said, Marcel might beat him. I think he said in a race or in push-ups or something like that. And he said something along the lines of, Joey is the, I forget if he said like least athletic or something like that.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. His quote was something like he's the most least athletic killer out there or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
And it's true. It's true.
But look at him. At the end of the day, he always comes forward. He has an insane gas tank for any weight class, let alone heavyweight. He can take a punch, and he keeps the pressure on. He might not be finishing opponents with one punch, but I don't know if they want to get hit, 50, 60, 70 times, or if some of the people rather just get hit once and get knocked out. But at the end of the day, Joey is beating, he won the title, now he's defended it.
Nate, other fights on that card, man. great fights. New guys coming in. You got Olympic medalists jumping in that ring, and their opponents, equally matched as far as gas tanks and just putting on a show. But these boxers are showing through at the end of the day with just their pace and not burning themselves out through these fights.
Yeah, Nico Hernandez obviously is an undefeated pro boxer and a 2016 Olympic medalist. That says a lot about his skills. If anyone at his weight would try to go in there and box him punch for punch, I don't see many, if any, be able to hang with him. But this is bare knuckle fighting. This isn't bare knuckle boxing. So when we made this match, we realized that a mixed martial artist who had experience in, say, Muay Thai or clinching, or maybe even a wrestler that had a good clinch that did MMA, might have an advantage only on the inside if they were to get his hands on him and keep him from boxing. And this was a fight that we thought matched very well. There was a noticeable height difference, but both fighters came in 115 and change. They were both in phenomenal shape, and they were both really confident. And the fight was amazing. A lot of people, I think, expected Nico just to go in there and walk through him and pick him apart. But we saw before, when you put a professional boxer against a professional mixed martial artist, it doesn't always go that way when you nullify it by making it bare knuckle fighting. That's what's, well, not just, but it's one of the great things about this sport, that you can't just sit there and say, well, that person's a better boxer, so they're going to win, because that guy gets his hands on you, or that woman gets her hands on you, and it can change the game.
Yeah, and, talking about Nico, I mean, he got cut fairly early in that fight. I mean, that could change a whole course of someone's game plan in there. I mean, because we know that cuts are dangerous. I mean, once you start exposing that and you're aiming for that, that could end a fight. So it's a whole new experience for him. I mean, he learned a lot at BKFC 13 also.
Absolutely. And I think from the people who didn't know him, like the boxing, the people who aren't boxing fans, I think when they saw him, they gained a ton of respect for him, because let's face it, he could have went in there and jabbed his way to a 5-round victory. I mean, he could have done it. He has the skill and the ability to do that, but he didn't. He bit down on his mouthpiece, he put up his hands, and he went punch for punch, and he showed that he's more than just a world-class boxer. This guy can fight.
And that shows how much fun they have in there, because, he's not thinking of the outcome. I could get caught. This could hurt, maybe my boxing career, more boxing fights. They seem to be happy where they are, putting it all out there and wanting to come back to fight for you guys again.
Absolutely. David Feldman was a professional fighter himself. He knows the life and the struggles of being a professional boxer. So I think a lot of the fighters can relate to him, because he has the same attitude as they do a lot of times. He understands the grind, he understands the hard work, compared to other people who may have never competed in a combat sport, let alone at the professional level that a lot of these athletes are fighting at. So I think that correlates into fighters wanting to come back, because he treats them well, he knows how to talk to them, he knows how to incentivize them, and he creates an atmosphere that not only the staff love, but the fighters love being a part of.
Exactly. And he develops like a family and a really friendship with everyone involved with BKFC. Once, they join the team, or they're part of the fights or anything, he gets you involved. He appreciates everyone that respects the fight, what he's doing. And, if you help him out, he seems to reward people that are close to him and doing great things for him in a great team.
I completely agree. I've known David since like 2006. Like I said, I was a matchmaker. I matchmade a show for his brother. We met. We got along great. 4 years later, we ended up talking again. We ended up merging our promotion companies. So we have a history there, and we work very well together. He's a phenomenal promoter. I like to think I do a half-decent job matchmaking. But you're right, he does create a family atmosphere. So much so that when he got married, he reached out to me and I pastored his wedding. So
nice.
It's not only is it going to work, but I have the opportunity to have my wife help out, do a lot of stuff because she books the hotel and travel, and I get to work with coworkers that I look at as family, and it just makes it that much more special, and that you put that much more heart into it because you want to see your family succeed.
Excellent. Well, my friend, congratulations on a great show over the weekend. A lot of things coming out of this, out of this card. You got another card coming up, but let's focus on the development league here. The Toe the Line fight series that you put together with the blessing of David to basically put up a feeder league and to get these fighters, acclimated in bare knuckle boxing. Let's talk a little bit about that first show back on September 26th. When you first guys came out, man, what'd you think about the show? I'll tell you what I thought about it, but first of all, what'd you think about it, and what was the experience like as far as you coming out with your own thing and seeing it come to full effect?
Yeah, so it was a great experience. Legacy Promotion is owned and operated by Cody Sheffield, who is a professional fighter himself. He fought for us on our card in Oxford. We had some hiccups. We were looking at a casino. We were planning on doing it outside. It didn't happen. So about a month prior to the event, we switched on over, got the Tunica Arena, indoor facility that's used mostly for like livestock and whatnot. But as far as those arenas go, it was top notch compared to other ones I've seen or hosted shows at. The fights, again, I'm not just saying this because it was our card. They were action packed from the first fight to the main event, and going through, people were, a lot of people I talked to were torn. Noah Cutter versus Cain Tomlinson, for example. Cain has a ton of the tough man style boxing, if you will, or off the street boxing they call it, depending on what state you're in. Professional boxer, professional kickboxer, professional mixed martial artist fighting Noah Cutter. Noah was kind of the unknown because of his record, comes from Florida. They got in there and they just went at it. I mean, very exciting fight. Again, I think it ended in under a minute, but it wasn't like a beating. Like they just kept going and going and going. And I think Cain got knocked down for the third time in the first round and ended up getting called, but he wasn't out. He just he was fighting a bigger, younger fighter. Yeah. Sometimes that happens, but again, we had a great experience. We brought John McAllister, Brian Maxwell, T. Cummings, Bobby Taylor, just to name a few, Teddy Webster, Frank Tate, fighters that were either scheduled for or have fought for BKFC to toe the line. And it wasn't a downgrade for them. We were trying to keep them active.
Yes.
COVID has messed up a lot of stuff for a lot of people and a lot of businesses. What we're trying to do with Toe the Line is not only find new talent, but allow our BKFC current fighters an opportunity to stay active because we don't want them having a lot of time outside of the ring. Bobby Taylor now is 2-0 at 155 pounds. He's beat undefeated pro boxer Hernandez, who I believe was 8-0, and he beat Paul Teague, who is a mixed martial artist. I think Bobby Taylor's like 41 or 42.
Yep.
He's in phenomenal shape, and he shows that, like, this sport is something that he was made for.
And he was one that won one of the contracts, correct?
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, he already fought for BKFC, but he was so impressive that going back and talking, I mean, he might be one fight away in BKFC from a title shot.
Yeah.
Because he's that impressive. I mean, he was the underdog going into his first fight. And, I mean, he fought like a 26-year-old 8-0 pro boxer. His mixed martial arts record, I think, is a little upside down. So I don't think many people picked him to win, and he pulled it off. And then he comes out there and has, the knockdown, if not knockout, if you will, of the night. I mean, that picture of Paul over the rope.
Yeah.
I saw that picture probably 200 times.
Yeah, exactly.
And So he showed that he has a ton of potential, a ton of skill, even in his early 40s. So like I said, I mean, if he goes or when he goes back to BKFC, I think he'll get another tough fight, and then we might be talking potential title fight for him. Who knows?
Excellent. And when we talked about this card, we talked about up and comers, new people stepping in there for the first time. You have MMA guys, you have boxers there. You had some great talent that night as far as Joshua Weems. That kid was one of the first. I mean, one of the first fights. He just dazzled the crowd there. The footwork. You didn't expect that from a kid the first time in there.
No, and what was unique about him was when you saw him walk out. Some fighters have that walkout where they're basking and they're enjoying being there and they're like, oh, I finally made it. When you saw him walk out, you would have thought he made that walk 100 times in bare knuckle. He looked so comfortable. He looked so confident. He was going out there fighting a much more experienced mixed martial artist who I was told by reliable sources was very tough, didn't have the best record, but was very tough, in your face, and durable. And I mean, what can you say about Williams? I mean, he was just beyond impressive. I'm hoping that we're able to get him on a card later this year or at least early 2021 because the potential he has right now is unlimited. I mean, we're really impressed, especially I think that's at 145.
Yeah, he made it look easy in there. I was just very impressed with that kid. Excellent. Well, what was David's take? He was there with his son. He made the trip for your first show there. What was his thoughts on the overall night?
Oh, as far as the fights, I mean, the fights are great. We have a system down now. We're getting really good at matching the opponents. And a lot of the fighters we're getting aren't big-name fighters, and they're still putting on exciting fights because this sport, we've been perfecting the matchmaking of it over the past 2 years. And I think we have it because every card now is becoming very exciting. Senior and junior flew on in. They were pretty much hands-off the entire time. They let myself and Cody do our thing. Again, it was Cody's show. I was there just doing some of the help with production and backstage and whatnot. But it was great. They loved the fights. They loved what they saw. They're hoping to bring some of the fighters to BKFC. And they're going to be down at Plant City, Florida, this Friday night.
Well, let's get right to that, my man. We're almost there. This Friday night. This is Toe the Line Fight Series number 2.
Yeah.
In Florida, man. You're no stranger there. BKFC has been there. Another promoter getting this going. How was the second time around? And you said there was a couple of hiccups in the first one. How are we doing on the second one?
The second one went really well from start to finish. First off, Nelson Promotions is a seasoned boxing promoter. He's been in the fight game a very long time. He secured the facility, secured the lighting. What's going to be different about this one is we're going to have some gloved boxing on the same card as the bare knuckle fighting. We're going to still use the 22-foot traditional boxing ring with the toe the line, matting, corner pads, and whatnot. But we'll start off the evening with the glove boxing, and then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll switch on over to bare knuckle and stream that exclusively on the BKTV app. Nelson's great. He's been a part and around BKFC for as long as I can remember, honestly. He has so much experience and he's so well connected down there. It's a small venue. It's going to be a small crowd. This is one of the shows that we're doing because there was certain talent that we were really scouting. We were excited about some of the fights on the card because some of these fighters we believe have a lot of potential, and we want to see it before we move them on over to the big stage. Because again, some fighters have a ton of talent, but when you put them on the larger stage, they're just so overwhelmed, I guess is a way of saying it, that they finally made it, that they don't always perform to the level that they're capable of. And we see it with other fighters. I'm not going to point fingers at them, but we do have some really talented fighters on this card, and it's headlined by UFC veteran Mike Kyle fighting professional boxer Bobby Bobo O'Bannon.
A massive, who knows what's going to happen in this fight right here. I mean, it's going to be a lot of hands throwing. Veterans here, boxer, UFC fighter he's been everywhere, Kyle. Everywhere. He's fought everywhere, different styles, UFC, everywhere. How'd you get him?
So Mike is a fighter that we offered a BKFC contract to probably 10 to 12 months ago. And again, when it comes down to matchmaking, we have to look at a lot of different things. And we just felt there wasn't a fight at the time that made more sense matching Mike against an opponent than who we decided on to match up. So it had nothing to do with Mike not being ready to fight or someone not wanting to fight him. Our job is to make the best matches possible. And this came up. I reached out to him. I let him know that, hey, we're having a small show. We'd love you to headline it. Here's the opponent. He didn't hesitate. He said, absolutely, I want it. So we got him the contract. We got everything situated. I mean, his opponent, I'm telling you, Bobby O'Bannon, didn't say no to anybody. We went with him to like 4 different opponents. Hey, you want to fight this guy? Yes. And then that guy, fell out originally. Then a second guy, yes. And then, we went back and forth with Mike because we had 2 options, and I gave him both options. I don't care. Like, his manager's like, he'll fight anyone. So just, again, another fighter, training hard. He's 1-0 bare knuckle. He's a heavyweight with knockout power. Mike Kyle is an experienced, seasoned mixed martial artist with knockout power. From a matchmaker's perspective, this is a fight that on a smaller card, we are really excited about. And, we have 6 bouts on this card. Like I said, it's a smaller event, smaller venue. So we're going to do six fights on it. But again, top to bottom, I know I keep saying that, but we have Mike Bissett versus Jason Fish. We have Bruce Lechmedel, I'm probably messed his name up, versus Will the Kill. So, I mean, you just look at the card.
And some of these, I mean, these are legitimate big record MMA fighters and Muay Thai fighters. These men have fought in all different. I think you have a fighter fighting that has over 50 fights, correct? 50 maybe Muay Thai or mixed martial arts fights?
Bruce has a ton of fights, and then Will the Kill, he has over 120 professional fights, undefeated pro boxer. He's fought Lethway, Bare Knuckle in different organizations. He fought Max Holloway in the UFC. I mean, what hasn't this guy fought professionally in? And he's fought over the world. It's not like he's just fought here in the States on some small promotions.
Yeah.
He's fought on large promotions across the world. And he made his debut for BKFC in Oxford, Mississippi against Joe Elmore. And Joe knocked him out. But that was a fight that we knew either Joe was going to knock him out or Will was going to pick him apart with his experience, his reach, and his precision punching, because Will has spot on punching. So again, even though he's 0-2, I think now in bare knuckle, don't sleep on the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, 120 fights.
Exactly. And we're new in the game, even though you've been at it a little over 2 years or so. These fighters are still kids in the game. So an 0-2 record doesn't mean much at this point, because a lot of the fighters only have, an average of 4 to 5 fights. Some of them get more because, they're winning. But it's new in the game. So you can't sleep on anyone with any type of record in here. As far as, the talent here, is there a lot of local guys on here? I know you only have 6 fights as far as the bare knuckle, but are there local guys competing on here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Martin Brown is a fighter that David Feldman was really interested in. And just because of the scheduling for the rest of the year, we weren't going to be able to get him on a BKFC card before the end of the year. We talked about it. I reached out to him. I asked him if he'd like to fight on this card, or through his management, I should say, and they accept it. Just like, a true fighter, like at the end of the day, they just wanted to fight, and they want the opportunity to fight bare knuckle. Juan Pena, the guy he's fighting, is from Texas, has like 12 professional fights, has a phenomenal management team. I reached out to them looking for an opponent to match against Martin. They had some great options, but Juan seemed like the best fit because tucks his chin, scrappy, comes forward. So we think this is going to be a fight that the fans truly watch, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some punches flying and someone getting knocked out. And then 2 other fights on the card leading off the night is going to be Jordan Nash versus Christopher Levant. 2 guys that I don't think they've ever met each other in their lives, but they go back and forth on social media at each other. So sometimes those can be really exciting fights because they finally get to meet. And sometimes you see someone's picture or something and you can't gauge them, because you're not looking them in the eye.
Yeah.
Well, these 2 men are gonna toe the line and look each other's eyes and punch each other in the face until
finally
the time runs out or one of them goes down.
Yeah, and then there'll be another week of chatter online by one of them or both of them, which is awesome. That's just better for you guys.
Oh yeah, one fight that people have been going crazy about, and for both guys being debuts, is Harrison Aiken versus Zion Tomlinson. Zion's dad fought. I mentioned him, Cain Tomlinson. He fought on the last toe of the line. Zion, I believe, has a mixed martial arts record of like 9-3. I'm not sure of Harrison Aiken, but when Harrison came to the tryouts in Kansas, he was hitting the heavy bag so hard it broke the wall mount that secured the heavy bag to the wall. And he's a 205 pounder. They're both 185ers that will fight up to 205. But imagine these heavyweights are hitting the heavy bag and no one's doing any damage. He gets on there and starts railing his heavy bag so hard that he pulled the anchoring bolt out of the wall. So you can just imagine how much punching power he has on his hooks and on his crosses. But Zion, I've known Zion. I've watched him on the fight scene for years. He doesn't back down. He doesn't get intimidated, and he punches hard. And it's good that this fight's actually at 205, I think, because neither fighter is going to be stuck down to 185. So we're going to get to see them hydrated, competitive on an equal platform. Again, in a boxing ring, which both of them are I think, majority mixed martial artists. And I'm excited about it. When the match came to fruition, people were hitting me up like, do you really have the match? 2 debuts? Absolutely. And it's going to be a war.
Excellent. Well, Nate, it looks like you're doing exactly what you and David wanted to do and were planning to do with this, is bring this up and coming talent and some of these veterans and getting them work and seeing some real potential future stars for the BKFC organization, correct?
Yeah. But at this point, we couldn't be any happier. Like you said, the first show, phenomenal fights, 9 fights. We saw a lot of talent. We saw progress in fighters. We saw some new guys that we didn't have a lot of footage on before, so we know the talent we want to bring up. This next card, the same thing. We have a 16 or 17 pro boxing and Bobo fighting a UFC veteran headlining a toe the line card. That could be a featured bout on a BKFC event, but we're lucky enough to have it on a smaller show to help bring eyes, because that's what that does. Like Mike Kyle and Bobo O'Bannon have nothing to prove to fight fans. They've proved it. They've shown that they can compete at high levels. But now having them fight and headline a toe the line for Nelson's promotion allows other people to watch that fight because it's intriguing, and then see the other fighters who don't have the experience yet or the name recognition of these 2 headliners. So fighting on a card like this gives the other fighters the opportunity to showcase what they have, not only to myself and to the Feldmans, but also to the thousands of people that are going to be watching. And I said it before, like when our stuff hits YouTube, I mean, it goes viral pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know, our fights get hundreds of thousands of views because it's the most entertaining sport out there right now. No politics, no BS. Two men or two women get in a ring and they punch each other in the face, punch each other in the body. I mean, it's exciting.
What time's it going to be on? I know you talked about you're going to have some boxing matches on before. Are they going to be it on the app? Are they going to be on YouTube? Are we going to be able to see them also, or is it just strictly the Toe the Line Bare Knuckles?
They may be streamed on another platform, and I'm going to talk to the promoter to find out. But bkTVapp.com is the exclusive way to watch it. It's $3.99 a month. There's a small setup fee if you subscribe through, or you can go on to your app store and download the app. It's a little bit more because the companies that have that app charge a fee for it. So I believe it's $5.99 on there. But we do right now, we're doing at least one event a month. September we had 2, October we're having 2, November we have 2 planned, the 13th and the 21st. December we'll kind of see. We have some things in the works. And then 2021 is right around the corner. Huge things coming. Dave made some announcements. I'll leave him with the glory with the big announcements. But I can tell you, 2021, January, February, we're hitting it hard. And then on top of all that, on top of all the shows, we have October 31st tryouts in Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to have tryouts probably, we were looking at November, but it'll probably be the second week in December. I'm working details with the gym right now, looking at going down to South Florida since we have so many fans and fighters down there. I'm making some phone calls and trying to line some stuff down there. And then mid-January, I'm looking at a tryout, potentially out west again, or maybe in an exotic location, if depending on how this COVID stuff plays out. So for those that want more information, you can always follow me on Instagram, BKFC_matchmaker, or Toe the Line Fight Series. It's the best way to get a hold of me. Facebook is just too much going on there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get away from Facebook. Too many people not doing stuff fight related, and that's what I use social media for. I don't use social media for pretty much anything now except for talking to fighters and getting my other fight information. Thank you again so much for having me. I truly love coming on your show. I'm a huge fan. I love watching your episodes. And if you don't mind, I just want to give a shout out to our 2 biggest sponsors, Tiger Life Energy Drink. I got to hang out with these gentlemen in Kansas. They're great. They have a phenomenal product. If you try it, I'm not an energy drink person. I tried their drink because Frank told me about it. He's like, try it. I tried it. I love it. They're based out of New York. It's the cleaner energy drink. It's an amazing product. So please check it out, Tiger Life Energy Drink. And then Fusion CBD products. For those that utilize CBD, check out Fusion. They've been with us a long time. They have great products. A lot of the fighters that I know utilize their products. They have a CBD water. So thank you to both of them for supporting BKFC and being part of Toe the Line Fight Series journey. We're truly excited to have both of them on board.
Excellent, my man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, give me time. I know you're busy. It's fight week. You got a couple of days before weigh-ins. You just came out of the BKFC 13 over the weekend. I appreciate the time you give me. I'll definitely want to get a word with you after this weekend. We'll talk about, we'll recap Toe the Line Fight Series 2, and we'll, talk about that tryouts and the next BKFC. So, Nate Shook, thanks so much for coming on, man, and good luck this week with your second Toe the Line Fight Series, my man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I fly out here in like 6-7 hours. So.
You better get that energy drink. You better take a case with you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my man. Nate Shook, matchmaker BKFC, and President Total Line Fight Series happening this Friday. Total Line Fight Series 2. Don't miss it. It'll be on the BK TV app. And I'll be watching it. We'll be recapping it next week and talking about it. Nate, thanks so much again for coming on.
Hey, thank you very much.